We're the Spuds. We're the Spuds. Spudding and spudding. Spudding and spudding. Spuds, spuds, spuds. We need a Spuds theme song. I think that might be it.
It wasn't entirely awful. It was almost so monotone that I think it was actually borderline catchy. Might be an unpopular take.
Will it get in people's ears? It's going to be an earworm.
I like too how literally I just hit record and I feel like you get like some muse just takes over you where you say something entertaining or funny. It's kind of cool.
I'm
That's
there,
nice.
dude. Once you hit go, there's no stopping.
That's for sure. You're very present and in the moment on this podcast.
Yeah, man.
I will not deny that. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Josh.
And this is the PUDs Podcast. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, my dude?
What's going on?
What is up, my dude?
Doing a little SPUDs-y SPUDs. We haven't dropped a SPUDs in a while, and then the SPUDs also became topical things that were like 2.5 hours long. But figured hop on, do a little brief interlude sort of podcast tonight. We have some guests coming up, so that'll be exciting for the next episode.
Yep.
Pretty pumped about that. Don't want to give too many details away, but I think it'll be a topic that a lot of people share liking and comment on. I'm trying to think of that accurately. People definitely like this thing that we're going to be talking about.
Oh yeah, y'all are gonna love it.
The thing that the people are involved with.
Yeah.
And Josh and me are a sort of connoisseurs, if you will, of the thing
for sure
that these people do.
For sure.
That was really big.
Very big. I love the
Very
vaguity.
big.
I love the
Mysterious.
vaguity.
I'm trying to keep it mysterious for everybody.
We haven't done a Spuds in a while, but that's because we're the big content boys, the BCBs.
Sure. Yeah. Definitely.
Oh man,
Definitely.
Nick? What have you been up to, my man? I know you got something big.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind in general with holidays and stuff, but in the podcasting realm, I was just on the Sounds Like a Search and Rescue podcast, SLASR, SLASR podcast. So had a lot of fun joining Mike and Stomp last week. We chatted it up, and I really enjoyed being on. Thanks again, guys. It's great being on there and hanging out with you. And like I said, I'm always up for doing it again.
Yeah, that was a really cool episode. They squeeze a lot of content into their podcast. Very, very informative. Very interesting. It was really, really fun to listen to.
It was cool to see how the sausage is made. I just like throwing that metaphor out
You
there.
just like to use that metaphor whenever you can.
Yeah, I do. I'm not going to lie. But it was very cool seeing how they do their thing and seeing how it contrasts and compares to what we do. And we were definitely chatting a little bit back and forth about that before we actually started podcasting.
Yeah.
They do a nice script and a little bit more advanced than what we do for the most part. I mean, we definitely do notes and stuff, especially with the more topical things recently.
Yeah,
but
for sure,
definitely a little bit more rigid. I think it makes it nice though, like you were saying, when you're banging out that much information in an episode. Like it's funny, I was kind of following along a little bit, and I was like, holy moly, like they're rolling, and they're like in sync. It's cool. We were both talking too, how it took them a little bit of a handle to get a rhythm with each other talking, and I sort of forgot how that's a thing.
Yeah,
but I think maybe we just shot the shit like informally so much golfing together and just had talked so many hours. Like I feel like it wasn't as a thing, but I do remember it being a little bit of a hurdle when we first started like doing remotely. I think more so. Yeah, they've been mostly remote for pretty much the entirety of their podcast.
Yeah,
so it's harder a different deal.
It's harder to get the cues remotely. Like I just kind of lean over. And I lean over, and then when you see me lean back into the mic, I think you're like, all right, Josh is ready to say something. So
yeah. You have different looks that you give me. There's the sultry look, the spicy look, the are you done yet look, the inquisitive look.
I'm just ripping farts down here, dude. That's exactly what those looks are. It's just me tearing it up.
That's the pensive look.
Yeah, that's me.
There's the... One of my favorites was the Josh just saw deer outside the window look.
Oh,
when you just gazed off and you're like, your eyes get all big. You're like, dude,
that was
deer.
There was a whole family of deer back there, dude. It was pretty wild. But no, I mean, and I think that the crossing over to the SLASR podcast, I think that is a big testament to you and kind of the influence or impact that you have in like the hiking world and just how active you are in that community, especially in the New Hampshire scene, like the northeastern like hiking scene. Like you're very active in that on social media and stuff like that. I see a lot of the stuff that you're tagging or
lots of pictures.
Yeah. So
I comment, I lurk here and there.
Yeah, you lurk a little bit, but you know a lot of these people, and you've been out hiking with Mike a couple times, right? So
yes. Yeah.
It's you've created that relationship with them, and so good for you for doing that. And shout out to Mike and Stomp for having you on and kind of giving the little guys a shot.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was great. Like I said, thanks again, guys. And on the flip side, I mean, they've done so much, I think, too, for just the hiking community in general. They are like the OG White Mountains podcast at this point.
Yeah. And
it was fantastic getting to sit in and chat with them. And likewise, I know Mike was mentioning, hey, it's been great meeting you and whatnot, but likewise, it's been great getting to know sort of a lot of different people, especially over the winter this year, and putting some faces to the people on socials and the Instagram handles and whatnot, and getting to know people and try to help do some of the fundraisers and stuff. But it's been a blast.
Yeah. And just for Mike, my accent is not that bad. Nick texted me. He was like, yeah, we talked about your accent a little bit. And I'm like, what accent? What are you talking about, dude?
Apparently some people were really looking forward to that, but we'll delve into that later.
Yeah.
In our fan mail section.
I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, Mike definitely doesn't have a complete lack of accent. I just said it, man. It's like North Shore meets South Shore. That's what it is.
Yeah. Just a different.
And we're definitely going to take them up on offering to come on the podcast and wanting to be on the podcast. That's going to happen. I don't know exactly when it's going to happen because we've got some stuff lined up, but we are most definitely going to have the SLASR guys on here at some point, and I'm sure it'll be equally as a blast as it was when I was over on SLASR.
We definitely going to have both those guys on. I'm looking forward to that, and then me and Mike can see who has less R's in their vocabulary.
Just need to get like some sort of phrases or sentences and make you say them like all the classic like Rhode Island or Boston things rather.
Park your car, Harvard
Yard.
Yard.
Exactly. You're like, park your car at Harvard Yard.
Yeah. The Celtics won the championship, kid.
Come on, guy.
Yeah. Onto that, I guess. Like Nick.
Yeah, I was gonna say
the Boston Celtics are your NBA champions. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
They're yours as well. Especially after they got decimated that second to last game, but I think everybody kind of like they definitely threw that, right? I'm curious your take on that.
I don't know if they threw it. I think you show up.
They didn't try.
Yeah, I think you show up and play to win, but I think there's a little some chess moves being made by the coach to say, all right, we're gonna lose the battle but win the war. But my prediction was correct. Celtics in 5, take it home. Unfortunately, I could not make the parade as I've been covering for my boss for the past 2 weeks. So
I was bummed for you.
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed, but just happy enough to see them win and see the Jays, Jason and Jalen get a championship after everybody would say for years how they can't win together. So it was nice to see them get one. Nice to see Al Horford, very seasoned veteran, finally get a championship. Like, yeah, no, it was fantastic, dude. Fantastic.
Yeah. Congrats, Celtics. Related to the Celtics, too, did you see that video that was going around of Paul Pierce, like, celebrating and stuff? I don't know if he was, like, after a couple cocktails or something, but it was super funny because, like, you would have thought the way he was acting that he was part of the team. It was just interesting, like, I know he was stoked, but it's like he was, I don't know. It was
Paul
funny.
Pierce has always celebrated. He's been celebrating since 2008.
Yeah.
So
yeah. He's like, finally again.
Yeah, he's been celebrating for a long time. But
it was funny.
You know I love my Celtics, and let me just say too, like, Brad Stevens, like what a mastermind that man has to be able to put that team together the way that he did, put all the pieces in the right place. I think he deserves a lot of credit for that championship team. And obviously, Joe Mazzulla has to coach those guys and get them to buy in. Obviously, they talked at the beginning of the year of, who's going to go to the bench and this and that. And those guys kind of seamlessly made it happen. So a lot of credit's got to go to Brad and a lot of credit to Joe Mazzulla. But yeah, Celtics are the champs, baby.
Yeah, man, like you said, it's a chess game, and they most definitely won this year.
Yeah,
no doubt about that.
That's no doubt.
So, kicking back around, because we're just catching up, you get up to anything good on Father's Day weekend? And Josh is 2 times dad now, so do you get to celebrate twice as hard?
No, you get twice.
Or maybe half as much.
You get yeah, exactly. You get like twice less free time, twice less, or twice more the responsibilities. But no, it was actually a really nice Father's Day. We had I had at church, I was on a panel. They did like a little kind of like panel at the church. So for both services, they kind of asked us some questions as fathers. So it was me and 3 other guys up there, varying in age. And so we did that. And then after that, we had Melissa's parents and sister and Nate all over to just kind of hang out. Got some pizzas, some wings, and just kind of chilled, man. It was really a relaxing day. It was super chill. I really can't complain. Nothing crazy.
That's good, man. I feel like that's the best way to spend Father's Day.
Yeah. How'd you spend your Father's Day?
So, just kicking back, the Saturday before I went over to my mom's house and sort of helped celebrate her birthday a little bit. Actually, Friday night we went out for her birthday, so happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, Claire.
Meme Sidla, it was her birthday this past week, but so that was a little part of the weekend. It was over there Saturday cooking dinner, but yeah, on actual Father's Day was a super beautiful day before we kind of got into that heat wave finally.
Yeah, for sure.
And summer finally got to us, but ended up reaching out to some folks, seeing what some of the other hiking friends were doing, and wanted to hit Wachusett with Rylan and Ash, since that's a pretty easy, relaxing mountain to get up to. Wanted to get out with Rylan. Figured that'd be the perfect Father's Day. And then Jake and Julie, friends of the podcast, Jake and Julie, ended up joining us on Wachusett, so that was super cool. Nice. And their buddy Tom. And we kind of got up there a little bit later in the morning. We didn't want to get up too early. I think we met around like 10-ish, 10:30 or so. Took our time kind of going up to the summit. There was some church group or something moving through, so there's a ton of people up there, but it was a little bit quieter on the way down. Great to see everybody just out enjoying the day. Really, it was super neat.
It was a beautiful day.
Oh yeah, everybody was definitely taking it in, and we chilled up there for, I don't know, like 45 minutes to an hour, and ended up making our way back down, and then pretty much just came back home and made some tacos. So nothing too crazy there. It was a nice
nothing beats a Father's Day taco.
Yeah, I think maybe I poked around doing some gardening later in the day.
Nice.
So it was great.
It's a very you day. It's a very you day. just didn't quite make it over the border into New Hampshire.
No, a little bit far away from there. I thought that
awesome.
Would just be too much to do.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, we actually got out to on Juneteenth. We actually got out to I don't know. Have you ever been to Swansea Town Beach?
A couple times, yeah. We're not too far. That's like, I joke with Ash, like that's sort of our local beach in Rehoboth. It's definitely the closest.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we got out there on Juneteenth with friend of the podcast, Katie Morales, Adam's wife, and their daughter Thea, and Jeremiah and Sawyer and Melissa and myself, and kind of putzed around the beach for at least 2-3 hours, dude. It was awesome. And you know me. I'm in the water the whole time. I don't sit on the sand.
Yeah,
I am splashing around, beach whaling it.
It's probably nice in that because it's in sort of a bay area too. It was probably pretty warm. Right?
Yeah. So
it was hot anyways. But
yeah, it was super hot. But for anybody that's local, it's actually like if you have young kids, the water level stays fairly low. Like it was probably maybe at the highest, maybe up to my like right above my knees, my thighs. So it never gets really deep, and you can kind of just walk out for miles, and it really never gets to a point where you're concerned about, your child like not being able to stand or touch the bottom. So that was really nice, and it's not really wavy or anything like that. So it's like nice and calm. Just got to swim around. We found a
Nice.
big old crab. Found a giant crab,
baby.
dude. Just plucked him right out of the water and just was messing with him for a little bit. And and we found like a conch with like the snail still in it. So like one of those big conch shells. Cool. It wasn't huge, but probably the size of your fist. It was pretty cool, man.
It's sizable.
Yeah, pretty big.
It's sizable. It's worthy of a story.
Well, it depends. I have Whopper Junior hands, so my fist isn't that big.
Fair. I guess that's true.
But yeah, no, awesome beach. Like if you're local, I think it was like $10 for the day. And you have kids, especially, like go check it out. Awesome place to go.
Yeah, we've been there a few times with Rylan right after she was born. That being said, I haven't been back really since, but it's a very nice spot. You wouldn't know you're in Swansea by like the way the view off the beach and stuff looks. And it's like right past that Ocean Grove area. People sort of know the neighborhoods. Yeah. Down there.
I remember when Melissa told me we were going to Swansea Town Beach, I'm like, we live in like, Tiverton. We have these beautiful beaches here. Like, why am I going to Swansea? I'm like grumbling the whole way. I'm like, this is going to be trash. Oh my goodness, I can't believe we're going here.
Probably oil slicks in the water.
Yeah. I'm going to swim and there's going to be diapers everywhere and like people's poop. I'm like, I don't want to do that. And then we get there and I'm like, oh, this is gorgeous. Like, I had to swallow my words. Like, shame on me. Being too judgmental.
Not too far either from you, right? Was it like, it's probably like 15
15, 20 minutes. Yeah, not bad at all.
Not bad. So on my Juneteenth, I finally got up and did trail maintenance. So I was kind of, finally got up there for the spring finally to Earl and cut off.
How's the IKEA bag holding up?
It's pretty beat. I only did one load of rocks while I was up there.
You gotta go back and listen to that in the episode. The last time Nick did trail maintenance.
Yeah, giant IKEA bags for rocks from friend of the podcast, Mike Cordero. Yeah, so kind of pulled a little bit of an audible there. So I ended up driving up earlier in the morning into New Hampshire and found a place to work remotely and was able to kind of set it up so I could actually head up and do trail maintenance on Tuesday night. What sort of led into that decision was I was actually just chatting back and forth with Mike Trokey, as we often do chat about hiking. And he was kind of like joking about me going out and doing Eastman or something on Tuesday night because we have so much daylight this time of year, which is one of the 52 of the view I have left. And then I kind of got to thinking, I'm like, it's supposed to be hot as balls on Wednesday. Like in Gorham, I think it was supposed to be like 98 or 99 degrees. Jeez. It was even warmer than here.
Jeez.
God knows with the humidity what it felt like. Not like it was much better Tuesday, but I'm like, hey, maybe I could go up and do trail maintenance on Tuesday afternoon instead. So I opted to do just that. And I got to the trailhead, Appalachia, around 4 o'clock, got up to Madison Hut around like 5:45, 5:30. Was really booking it up there. I was just feeling good despite the fact that it was hot, or maybe I was just delusional. It was one of those times like I just took my shirt off as soon as I got there.
Nice.
And I was like, this is just useless having a shirt on. About 45 minutes in, it looked like I had just peed my pants pretty much because I was that sweaty. But got up to Madison Hut, made pretty decent time for me anyways, and did trail maintenance for probably a couple hours. I should say I did stop to chug about 2.5 liters of water in between getting up there. I think I drank 2.5 liters on the way up. I drank almost 2.5 liters at the hut, and then like another 2 liters throughout the course on the way down. Like I was just trying to stay hydrated and be conscious because it was nasty. It was like 93 when I started up, still 75 at 11 at night when I got down. So it was hot.
You didn't get down till 11 at night?
Yeah, 10:45 about.
Wow.
Yeah, I opted to do that. So the benefits of that were, I didn't have to deal with the heat as much as I for sure would have had to if I went up during the day on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then after I did trail maintenance for a few hours, made one rock run for my scree wall. Can I get the scree drop?
Can I get a scree?
There we go. For my scree wall. I did one trip with the rocks. The IKEA bag is getting real beat up. It's got a lot of holes. It looks like Swiss cheese. So I don't know if it's got maybe like one more trip in it, but I'll figure that out later. Did a bunch of brushing. My trail, a lot of the crumbles actually grew in pretty respectably, like more than I would have thought it was going to. I don't know if it's just because I kind of went crazy 2 years ago when I first adopted it and didn't do as much last year because I get kind of apprehensive with like I don't want to cut too much, but enough where it's like there aren't branches in your face. But I definitely could have brushed a little bit more, but I gave it like 2 or 3 hours and I definitely didn't want to miss sunset up there. So I got up Mount Adams for sunset, which was very
Sweet.
cool. I haven't done too many sunset hikes in the Whites. Going to try to do some more when I can after we did that Joshua Tree one. That was beautiful. The only thing was it was almost like so hazy that a lot of the pictures and stuff I feel like didn't come across as great because it really was almost like practically like fog up there. Like you could see through in views, but it was just so sticky.
Awesome to even be up there though.
Yeah, it was cool. I was surprised though, despite Madison Hut seemingly being like full and packed, there was nobody up there at sunset.
So you're talking sunset, that's like 8:30, right? What's the temperature? Or maybe only closer to 9?
No, it was about, I think the official time was like 8:35 or something like that. And I didn't stay completely till sunset because I didn't want to come down Mount Adams, and I didn't even want a chance coming down in there in the dark. I should say I knew it was going to be plenty light enough, but I probably got up there a little bit before 8 o'clock and then came down at like 8:25.
So what was the temperature at that time?
Even up there, man, it was probably like I'd say mid to high 60s. Like it was not cold.
Wow.
I know they were actually keeping an eye to see if it was going to break Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday the overall high temperature for Mount Washington, but it actually didn't even tie it. It was like 2 degrees below it. So it didn't get, I think, quite as warm up there as they thought it was going to. But that being said, for it to be like that warm on the top of Mount Adams or any northern presidential summit's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So it was enjoyable from that aspect, a little buggy. The sunset was incredible. I shared out, I think, a couple pictures maybe through my Instagram to the PUDs Podcast story, but I'll definitely be throwing up a few with this episode. But one of the most amazing things I think I saw that night and just in general, kind of a new view pinnacle in the Whites, was I could see the silhouette of Mount Adams and Mount Madison hitting like the Wildcat Cardamom Range across Pinkham Notch, which was just super cool to look from as I was kind of making my way up to the summit. Just seeing that whole like just perfect shadow cast back across
nice
behind
silhouette.
It made up for my pseudo failure of trying to see sort of a sunset from Square Ledge across from Mount Washington. So I definitely was high up enough to see it this time. And like I was saying, nobody up there. It looked like there was some people on Madison that night, which maybe I'm thinking if you're staying up there, it's just way easier to get to Madison from the hut. So maybe that's why people didn't choose to go up to Adams.
Right.
A lot of fun. Definitely enjoyed it. Took a lot of pictures. Made my way down Gulf side back to the hut and sort of filled up on water. And then, I made my way down probably until 9:15. I actually didn't have to use a headlamp, which was pretty cool. But after that, I was headlamping it and got down maybe about 11:15. And nothing too eventful there other than that. I stopped like counting because I must have seen at least 100 toads coming down the trail. At first, I thought I was seeing things.
That's so
But
awesome.
like little like 3, 4, 5 inch across sort of toads. It must just be because they're nocturnal and maybe they're out getting them. I'm assuming they must come out to eat bugs and stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe the bugs are out that time of night more. So at first I thought, I'm like, what am I seeing like hopping down beside the trail? And then I was like, oh, it's definitely toads. And like by the bottom, I didn't even care anymore. Like for the first like 20 or 30, I'm like, oh, there's another one. Look at how big this one is. And then it's like, by the time I got down, I'm like, oh, it's another toad. They're everywhere.
There was no toads. You just had a sunstroke. He's like, the toads. Look at the toads.
I'm looking at a picture I took next morning. I'm like, that's not a toad. That's just a rock.
It's just a rock.
It's a spotted rock. I was going crazy.
That reminds me, too. I think it was either the Sunday of Father's Day or the Saturday. Jeremiah, we have the little retention pond behind the house. We were walking around up back there. And we found this huge turtle, dude.
I was going to say, I saw a picture of that, I think.
Yeah, that thing was awesome.
That's pretty sick.
That thing was so cool.
Pretty sick, dude.
Yeah.
Like a snapping turtle or just
I think it was
like one of the painted ear ones or whatever they call it.
Yeah, like one of them painted turtles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Man.
That turtle existed. I touched him and held him, so I don't know about your toads.
You didn't have heat stroke?
Yeah, I don't think I had heat stroke.
I'll catch one next time and bring him home.
Yeah, fair.
Just kidding.
Deal.
Leave no trace. All
right, well, hold one and take a picture of it.
I'll try next time. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know. I'd be afraid. I don't want to squeeze him too hard.
Oh, you just don't squeeze him too hard. Be gentle, Nick.
You gotta get him. I'm not an expert toad catcher like you are.
You gotta get him.
Yeah. So anyways, with my maintenance done on Tuesday night, it was kind of a late night. By the time I got back to the hotel, I pretty much just like ate food and crashed. But I had been chatting to a local avid hiker about potentially doing the Watcher on either Tuesday or Wednesday. For those of you who don't know what the Watcher is, it's basically a bushwhack to a rock formation that's on the opposite side of Franconia Notch from where the Old Man the Mountain used to be. And this rock formation, from a certain perspective, essentially looks like a face looking over Franconia Notch. So that's why it's called the Watcher. It's also known as the Old Lady of the Notch and a couple other nicknames over the years.
I think it wasn't even that long ago. I think I saw a picture of this and I was like, oh, I thought
there's another one.
Yeah, I was like, I thought the old man's face fell off. Like, yeah. And then you were like, it did. I'm like, but I'm looking at the picture right now. You're like, no, that's the Watcher. I'm like,
yeah, the Watcher.
Who?
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I got up there on Wednesday, and even though this particular avid hiker could not actually make it, they had previous plans. They were kind enough, and I didn't even know you could do this on Facebook Messenger, but you can leave audio messages for people through the Messenger app.
Nick, you gotta get in touch with the times, my dude.
I know. I didn't know. Maybe that makes me sound archaic. That's fine. I don't use it for that purpose.
They do these voice things on there. They can leave me voicemails.
They got these things that you can record your voice messages online.
Somebody called me. They say they need my credit card information so I can get into the Facebook.
So I shouldn't do that when I say
No,
that?
don't do that.
Yeah, but it's funny because I'm like, it seems like it wouldn't have a great purpose, but it was perfect for something like this, which is he left me an audio message describing how to sort of find the trail to the Watcher and just how to get there, which was super cool. You know who you are. Thanks again. I think I might have name dropped who that was on the SLASR podcast. I don't want to like completely be like, hit this dude up if you need to find where the Watcher is. It's sort of one of those things where people like don't talk about it as much, and I think some of it's because people don't want to encourage people to go up there. It is pretty much a bushwhack, I have to say. I had directions to follow. That being said, I still got turned around once on Wednesday when I went up there.
Wow.
And it took me a bit of poking around despite the mileage. It's maybe like 2 miles sort of out and back to try to get to the Watcher. But there's some very hairy areas. You could really get yourself into trouble if you didn't know what you're doing or where you were going. I do want to completely point that out because I know I've been sharing out the pictures and a lot of people have been asking me, and it is a really legit hike. For me, there was one section of it in particularly where you actually split and have a decision, I should say. The trail splits to go up 2 different slides, and I chose to go up one side that was very sketchy. It was about the limit of what I would say I'm comfortable doing, never mind by myself. There's another way that's quite a bit, I'd say it's relatively easier. It's still on a loose sort of slide of scree, your favorite word. But it's on sort of this active slide. But it's very cool. I think if you end up going with someone sort of who knows where they're going or they can give you directions, that definitely makes it safer. I'd read as much as I could find about it online and then sort of reached out to figure out like where it was or at least exactly where to start for it. But yeah, very cool profile. I got some sick pictures of that. That was a lot of fun. Definitely pushed my comfort zone a little bit. I'm hoping that in the event that I take Ash up there, that she won't murder me for seeing that I did that by myself.
But hold on. So there's no like direct trail to get to the top?
There's a herd path, but what it is there's a rock formation on that side of Franconia Notch called the Eaglet, and rock climbers actually use this trail to get to the base of that. Okay. So actually, I'm trying to think if we were there with you and Mel, but the Eaglet you can see from around where the Old Man is. It's like this spit of granite that sticks up, and I think we saw people climbing on it. I forget if that was with you guys or not.
Yeah.
But like it's a full out like people rope climb, rock climb. Like it's not just a little rock climb. Like it's a sheer face of granite that sort of sticks up. But this trail that you can get to find the Watcher is more or less off one of those climber trails. So you're following more or less a herd path, but like, and when I say herd path, like if you were there in the winter for sure, like it'd be very difficult to follow it. And even me, like I consider myself a bit more experienced and have done some hikes where you end up following herd paths or things like that. But this was like, I got fully turned around at one point. I actually was ready to pull the plug about halfway through because I got to a ledge section that was just super sketchy. I slid out a little bit, which definitely scared me enough to be like, okay, like we can't go this way.
Yeah.
And just being sweaty and stuff too. I underestimated being sweaty and definitely just more tired because it was like 90 degrees out.
And you just did trail maintenance the day before.
Yeah, that was definitely a thing. So I was saying, Ash, my stupid bell went off at one point, and I'm like, I'm going to pull the plug on this. And inadvertently, when I ended up coming back, I saw where I lost the initial sort of slide to break out to where you get to the final portion where you can actually see the back profile of the watcher. And I kind of headed up again and then found my way to it eventually. And I had great views from the top of it too, which was sick.
That's awesome.
It's definitely one of those things. It's been in my mind to check out for a while. So number one, I was super thankful to get sort of a pointer for where it's going. Number two, thankful I got up there and didn't get hurt or anything doing it, because I think after having some time to reflect on it, it's definitely one of those things you really should do with someone else unless you're super familiar with where you're going.
Yeah. Good for you for going up there and not only getting it done, like sticking to it, but also making sure you were safe too.
Yeah, that's like I think Stomp called that. I'm like, she's like, because I said something about like trying to make sure I'm safe, and it was like it definitely was not the safest thing, but I don't think I was being completely reckless. But like I said, we'll let Ash be the judge of that when she sees up there.
Yeah.
I have a feeling she's not going to be super happy about it, but we'll see. Again, I'm trying to live and learn and push my own comfortability as a hiker a little bit, and I definitely was more than satisfied with it. That was plenty enough for me to be doing by myself, to say the least. So I had some adventure. So that was great. So the only unfortunate part, other than it being just hot as balls and being gross and sticky, was that I got rear-ended on the way home, coming back on 93 south in Concord.
Yeah, man.
Which sucked.
We talked about this. How did that happen? Tell me about this.
Nothing too complicated. I did happen to notice that this particular car, right around when I was getting into Concord, that like last stretch of 93, when sort of the speed limit changed and stuff, that he was following me a little closely, and then we were almost to where Interstate 89 comes in and like splits off into like kind of Vermont if you're heading that way. And it's funny, I literally was talking to Ash on the phone, which she handled it very well, because I don't even know if I would have done as well, because like literally we were talking on the phone while it happened. Like she heard the crash and everything. And then it was like, oh my God, are you okay and stuff? And I was like, I'm good. I need to get out though. And like I'm pulled over and stuff. So she definitely, kudos to Ash. Thank you for keeping your cool and not freaking out, because I don't know if I would have done even as well on the other end of that line on the phone. She did awesome with it. But basically, this dude, like, I saw him follow me closely, and I didn't even really slam on my brakes or anything. We were just slowing down traffic, and he purely must have just not been paying attention. He just plowed into the back of me.
He never stopped.
I'm super thankful. I mean, it sucks about my car's likely totaled, but in the grand scheme of things, not being hurt, like, I literally had no residual whiplash or anything from it. Not being hurt and being safe is obviously the most important thing in that situation, and living to walk away from it. So
you're gonna have to buy another Mazda, dude. Clearly they're safe.
Yeah, dude, I'm not gonna lie, they have a very high safety rating, but I was showing that picture to you and to a lot of other people, and people were like, oh my, like, are you okay? Like, it bent the back frame of the car and everything, and he hit me dead in the back, probably going, I would guess, 30 or 40 miles an hour, and completely compressed the back side of the hatchback of my car. So
thank goodness the baby wasn't with you and Ashley wasn't with you. Like,
absolutely, dude. And it was crazy even seeing that, because I was even looking in the back seat, like nothing was really displaced other than that. I had a Gatorade in the front seat. I'll never forget this. I feel like I'll just remember it for a while, but it was like a blueberry Gatorade, because I was super thirsty in Lincoln. I just literally stopped at a gas station because I'm like, I need like some Gatorade or something, dude. I'm just so thirsty. So I stopped and got this, and I had this cap loosely screwed on, and like when that car hit me, it was just blue. Like I got out and I just smelled like blueberries for the rest of the day, because it just went everywhere.
You got smashed the blueberry Gatorade.
But other than that, dude, I mean, again, you said if Mazda wants to sponsor the podcast, but I had a Mazda 3 all-wheel drive hatchback, and that thing took the hit like a champ. It really did. Like I walked away from it. It didn't even dislodge anything from the seats in the back or whatever. The trunk was a little bit trash, but like my cooler and stuff, all my hiking gear and my camera and everything were still fine. So that was good.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Like everything was back there. It didn't even bust the back windshield, which I thought was impressive.
Wow.
But it just really destroyed. And his car, to say the least, was like done. And this guy was like, I try not to I guess, shit on people, frankly, too much. I try to be like, I don't know where this guy's coming from, whatever, but he seemed like kind of a dick, I guess you could say. Like he was actually trying, he was trying to be like, swindle me. I think I told you this too, but he was like, actually, like, do we need to like report this to the cops? I'm like, number one, dude, we're on 93 on a holiday.
Yeah.
Like a cop's there's state police around here all the time. Like someone's going to notice.
Yeah.
And number two, your car is like leaking 7 different types of fluid. Like you're not going anywhere.
And you destroyed my car. I need to make sure I get compensated.
Yeah. And thirdly, I'm absolutely filing a police report because you just annihilated the back of my car. Like my car's toast. Like it's not driving anywhere. So it's amazing just some people with, I guess their definition, I'm like, how many accidents has this guy got in where he doesn't want to like, it was interesting. He's like, we'll just take off. It wasn't like a little fender bender. I'm like, he slammed it in the back of me. Man, it was
get going.
It was crazy.
I work at the deli. Nobody's going to slice the hams today.
And Ash, my super wife, best friend, was able to figure it out and work everything out. My mom was actually watching Rylan, and thanks Meme Lisa for being able to grab Rylan, and Ash drove up a couple hours and grabbed me in Concord because they weren't going to tow my car all the way back to Rehoboth. So that was an interesting afternoon of just sitting, reading some coffee table books.
Is your car still just sitting in Concord?
It actually moved to wherever the insurance is going to take it to like assess it and appraise it today. But it was just sitting in Concord. Just sitting there. And they didn't even like take it to the lot where they'll like there was an outside lot where it looked like they kept the cars, or a section that looked like they had hope, and like my car just went straight to that. Was like, I was next to like a Jeep that was like imploded. Yeah, pretty much. So I don't think they anticipated doing any work on it.
Oh no,
to say the least. Well, we'll see. Maybe it'll work out, but I may be in the market for a new car soon, and Mazda for that reason will definitely rank high on my list.
Yeah, good.
So thanks Mazda for at least having my butt in that accident there, especially when it's not your fault. I feel like you feel almost like violated, where I'm like, it was just funny.
That guy rammed into my butt.
Yeah.
I feel violated.
I literally nobody likes getting rear-ended, right?
No.
At least I don't.
Take me out to dinner first. Jeez.
Oh man. So that was sort of a whirlwind week, dude.
Yeah, I'm glad you're okay.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, it's good. I'm super thankful as well.
Yeah. What else you got, kid?
I don't know, dude. That's about it. I did want to mention, even though we've been posting, is that we have stickers, and I forgot sort of how many we have these, and I feel like we just stopped plugging them at some point. But we have these really nice stickers from the first. It was the first or second iteration, I think, of sort of the PUDs Podcast logo, I guess, if you will. Logo. I mean, we try to keep it fresh and seasonal. We'll see. Maybe one day we'll actually get a logo designed or something. But right now, I think we've just been really having fun where like I typically pick a bunch of pictures that I have that are sort of seasonal, and then I send them to Josh with the PUDs Podcast stuff, and he kind of is like, yes,
I do my thing.
I think this one for San Jacinto, I think when I sent that to you, I was just like, we're going to use this, and you kind of agreed that this is awesome. But I know that some of the other ones, I definitely would send you like 3 or 4 different ones to be like, what do you think of this one? And you kind of pick it. But but in any event, it's this picture of actually looking at like Saddleback and Gothics in the Adirondacks with our PUD Podcast logo on it. So if you want any of those stickers, just reach out to us and DM us on any of the social media platforms, and we'll ship them out to you, as many as you want within reason. If you want 100 though, I'd maybe we'll chat about that. But if you want less than 100, I don't think we're going to argue with you.
First of all,
probably too much.
If you want 100, I want to know what you're doing with those.
We might inquire.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask. I want to know what you need 100 stickers for. And second of all, it's a giveaway, so don't be afraid to reach out. Reach out. We want to give these away.
Yes, we do.
And we've given them away. We've had a few people
for free.
Yeah, we'll give them to you for free.
And we had quite a few people actually already hit us up to ship them out. And I don't know too. Maybe some people are just apprehensive to give away their address, but. Just to make it creepier, I'm like, we're definitely not creepers if you send us your address.
2 things. First of all, we're not creeps, okay? You can trust us. Second of all, I work for the post office. I already have your address. So.
That's a valid point. I didn't even think of that. So I could look, so there you go. So Josh could look you up anyways if we can find your name. But in all seriousness, the stickers are completely available. I don't know if that just made it creepier or more or less likely for people to actually want stickers now.
Yeah, it might have.
I suppose we'll find out.
I promise you. I promise you. We're not going to figure out. We just want to send you stickers. That's all. It just keeps getting creepier.
Yeah, no, I'm like, let's just drop it. We have stickers. If you want the stickers, please reach out for the stickers.
Yeah, please.
And then I thought, lastly, I know we had mentioned on our previous episode that we enabled that text message feature where people can sort of comment.
Yeah,
there's a couple of things I wanted to say about this. So if you want us to give you a shout out, by all means, leave your name. We're just starting to get some of these rolling in, which has been super, super fun to see. We can't see your name by default on here. We actually just sort of get a virtual phone number where it comes from. We can see the location, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I guess we'll get into some of our fan mail.
Yeah, so give us a shout out.
We haven't gotten a ton yet, but it was enough where I didn't want to go through all of them. So our first one that I really liked the most, which I thought was funny, and I don't know if this was just because Mike on SLASR was playing up how aggressive your accent was, but here we go. So a listener from Lawrence, Massachusetts says, listen to the latest episode. Enjoyed the height to Galehead description and detail. We'll definitely listen to other episodes. Maybe Josh does more of the talking in other episodes? ? Thanks. So
that's so good. That's so good.
So I thought that was fantastic. So my first initial reaction was like, did I talk too much on that episode? And does this person not like me talking on the podcast as much? And my second reaction was, you haven't listened to that many episodes yet if you don't realize how much Josh talks, because there's definitely more episodes where Josh probably out-talks me by quite a bit. Maybe not the hiking ones, but the more topical ones, I'd say Josh dominates. So there's plenty of his sultry, sexy man voice to go around on the PUDs podcast.
As I've gotten older, what I've figured out is you got to be an active listener too. So sometimes I just like to listen. But listener in Lawrence, we appreciate you listening to the podcast. I talk very often and frequently. Sometimes not about really anything. Sometimes I start a sentence and I don't know where it's going. But thank you for listening so much, and I'm glad you enjoyed Nick rehashing his hike. So keep listening, share us with your friends, and leave your name next time. We'll give you a shout out.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that, and I to be fair, I'm actually just noticing as these are rolling in too. So our second one was a short and sweet comment. Listener from Providence, Rhode Island. Great show. Glad I found it. Really enjoying listening to you guys. So thanks.
Thanks, really Providence. Cool. Thanks, Providence, for listening.
And the third one, I'm just going to paraphrase, and this one I just thought was funny too. So this was a listener from Boston, Massachusetts, and they basically said that they also thought the Apple Music Top 100 albums was a garbage list, and it made no sense. So right on. And thanks for listening to us. We had a ton of fun doing that episode, hanging with our buddy Spencer.
Yeah, Boston, and, you ain't wrong, kid. That list was garbage. You know, the more that I think about that list, like, and I don't want to.
You get.
Yes, I don't want to think about it anymore. But the more that I think about it, like, because I listened to the episode, and then Melissa was listening to the episode, and then she was giving me her takes, and then I'm like, oh, I forgot all these snubs. Like, it's a terrible list. It's a terrible list.
Just terrible. Just terrible.
Yeah, terrible. That list is that's garbage. I don't know who made that list. They don't know nothing about
Charles?
Music. Those guys are crazy.
They're crazy.
And you know what's funny about that episode is when we started that episode, I'm like, all right, we're just going to run through these quick. And next thing you know, we're like 2 hours in, and I'm like, furious. Because the list sucks.
Just somehow more upset than when we began and we started looking. And all of us had, I know, too, like, obviously the link even, like, I put in our show notes was the Apple Music, like, nice, like, almost sort of artsy display of the albums, but Josh actually printed like a full up list on Excel sheets, and we started making notes on these things before we even hit the ground on this. And that just shows you too of how, like, I was thinking the same exact thing when you were saying about Melissa, is like me and Ash were talking about this, and I was chatting about this with my aunt and uncle at my mom's house, actually.
It's crazy.
Which, I mean, they're in their late 60s, early 70s. So granted, I'd be like, hey, like, obviously they're getting older, just to be frank, but like some of the stuff, like I was mentioning no Simon and Garfunkel, like I don't, without getting too much into it, but I was like, just stuff like that. My aunt was like, oh my God, no Paul Simon or any of that, like crazy.
No
man.
Hall and Oates, dude.
Yeah. But anyways, listener from Boston, thanks for commenting.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. And yeah, people, keep it coming. Like I said, if you do leave your name when you shoot the text through the link, we'll give you a shout out. And that's really all I had tonight, man. You got anything else?
No, man. I think that's it. Just we really appreciate those listeners. We really appreciate the fans and the feedback. And no, keep it coming, man. We wanna talk to you guys. We want to interact and give you guys shout outs and kind of just be men of the people. We want to be men of the people. So, and we got some really exciting guests coming on. Within the next few weeks, we'll have at least one lined up, probably SLASR at some point as well. So just keep an eye out, because things are moving. Things are moving on the PUDs podcast.
Things are heating up on the PUDs podcast this summer.
Getting hot.
All right, dude.
Man. All right, let's do this. Bippity boppity, give me the zoppity.
Bye. PUDs Podcast was produced and recorded in Black Hat Studios by the Pud Boys. Find us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving us a review and subscribing. Find us on social media, and we'll see you next time.